Are you looking for a super simple inventory system for your Godot 4 ARPG? Well, this might be a good place for you to start. G'day guys and welcome to my lab. The inventory system is such an essential part of all of my favourite adventure games, from the original Zelda to the LP mods I played in the 90s, or World of Warcraft, which came out I think in the early 2000s. The Breath of Wild, and even now with Tears of the Kingdom, inventory is such a key part of any ARPG. It just sort of goes without saying, and we haven't added one yet to ours. So let's go ahead and get that done in this lesson. So let's have a quick tour of the game as it stands now, and then jump into our WWSS. Alrighty, let's jump in, have a look at the game as it stands. It's been a little while since we published one of these, so let's have a quick look at what we're dealing with. We've got our welcome screen. We can start, we can go and pick a fight with some magpies. We've got sound effects to kill them. We've got health bars and health. We can come in here and grab our flamin' stick, which will make it so the magpies no longer try and attack us. All right, that's where we stand at the moment. What we're going to do is we're going to add an inventory system and also something for us to pick up to add to that inventory system, which I think we'll do like a health pack. So let's have a look at what's going to be involved to make that happen. So to recap, we have a basic functioning ARPG with player, enemies, scene, weapons, combat, health, all that sort of gear. That's where we're up to so far. What we're doing in this one is making an inventory for our ARPG. Why? So we can collect stuff and use it, right? Every good ARPG inventory. The skills you're going to need, well, we're going to have to understand and apply how to create new scene scripts. And your success today will look like you having an inventory bar on your screen that you can add items to and use items from. Alrighty, let's get started. So the first thing I think we should do is add our health potion PNG so that we've got that sorted out. So find that asset either in the OneNote or the Git or the itch. Lots of different places. So go looking for that. I've got to find it on my own bloody system here. What have I done with it? There it is, healthpotion.png, and drag that into your file window, and that gets added. So I've made it so it sort of resembles either, depending on your perspective, a medicine bottle or maybe a drink that bogans would enjoy. All right, that is our item graphic for the health potion. Next, I want to actually make a base item kind of thing. So we're going to create a new scene. So click on the plus sign, and we're going to make this an area 2D. So I'm going to click on other node and search for area 2D. There we go. And I'm going to rename it to item. That's going to be what we call that one. Now, our area 2D needs some other gear, doesn't it? So we're going to firstly add a sprite 2D node and a collision shape 2D. I'm going to put the collision shape as a child of the item, not the sprite. Let's just click over to our 2D view, and this collision shape needs to actually come into existence. So over to our inspector, and then shape. I'm just going to throw a circle in there for now and save that. All right, and we're going to save it as item.tscn. Perfect. And now we want to click on our root node item and attach a script to it called item.gd, just like that. And this is what it'll give us to start with. But what we're going to do is slightly different. So I'm just going to copy and paste this in, and then we can talk about what we got. All right, so we're going to create a new variable called item texture, and we're going to set that to null. So you notice I didn't give anything to that sprite 2D, no textures to it. That's because we don't want to actually put one on this. This is going to be like a template. So we're extending our area 2D as you would expect, and then we create this variable and we set it to null, and then we just make this function, but we don't use it at the moment. So that's to actually use our items. Let's save that. So now we've created an item scene and an item script. Excellent. Let's have a think about what our next step might be. I think probably the health potion, seeing as we've got started with that stuff already. So let's now create a new scene, and we're going to again go other node. It's again going to be an area 2D. We're going to rename our area 2D to health underscore potion, like that. And then we're also going to give it a sprite 2D, and we're also going to give it a collision shape. And again, I'm going to move that collision shape to be a child of the root node, not of the sprite 2D. All right, excellent. So next step, well, let's give our sprite 2D that texture that we just sorted out. So click on our sprite 2D, and then on our inspector side, you've got that texture empty. We're going to take our health potion, drag it over, drop it in that empty spot. And I'm going to save this now as healthpotion.tscn and go to my 2D view. Alright, so in my 2D view, here is our health potion as it stands. I'm going to drag it up so it's sort of sitting on the top. And I'm actually going to make it a bit smaller because I think it doesn't scale well to the world we've got here. So I'm just going to shrink it down. Doesn't really matter too much. You can fiddle around with that in your own time. And then we're going to give it a collision shape. So click on the collision shape, over to shape, click on the empty, and just a circle's probably fine. Something like that will do for me. Save that. Alright, that is our item.gd setup. That is our health potion scene, but now we need to work on our health potion script. So I'm going to click on the script here. I'm going to click on our health potion root node, click on the add new script and call it health potion. That's perfectly fine. But what I'm going to do here, guys, is a fair bit. So let's copy and paste this in and then we can talk it through. Alright, so what we're going to do from the top, okay, so we're extending item.gd, which is that little template we made before. Then we're going to set this variable health to restore equals 50. This is the how much health we want to give back to our player, right? Now in our ready function, we're going to set our item texture to that health potion.png. Now it might be a bit odd that we're doing this when we've already just dragged it in, but this is actually more to do with when we want to get it into our inventory so it shows up there. So it's a little bit convoluted, and you know what, there might be a better way of doing it, but this is the easiest way I worked out. So then we're going to load that, and then we're just going to print what that is just as a debug to make sure it's working. Now in our use function, remember in our item we just passed, well in our health potion what we're going to do is global.health plus equals 20, which doesn't make a lot of sense seeing as we've set that variable to 50. I need to think about that, but let's ignore it for now. Then we're going to print that we've used our health potion, and then we're going to get rid of that potion out of our inventory if that's what we've done. Now we've got this function on body entered which hasn't been signaled through yet. So click on your health potion root node over there, click on your nodes over this side, double click on body entered, connect it through, and hopefully that'll just give us a little green thing there. There it is there. So now in our on body entered function, here's what we're checking. Is the body that entered it in the group player? If it is, we want to clone that item and self-duplicate it. So this is all part of me trying to get it into our inventory. Cloned item dot item texture is our self item texture. So remember we've got our item texture up here. So we're cloning it. We're using that particular texture. We then want to add that item to our inventory. So the cloned item, we're adding it to our inventory. We haven't set up that global function yet, but we will soon. Now our inventory node will be this one here, tilemap player inventory. So as you can imagine, when we actually add our inventory to our world scene, it's going to be a child of the player node. That's what we're sort of saying here, and we need to find it. Now, if the inventory node is there, we want to update the inventory UI. Otherwise, print failed to find the inventory node and then queue free. So that's a lot of stuff, right? So that's our health potion. Let me just shrink that down a second so you can get the entire thing on the screen. So that's the entire thing there, right? So if you want to take a screenshot or however you find the best way of using it, I'll also zoom in just to make sure we can all see. So here's our top half, what we're extending, etc. Now let's scroll down here to get the rest of it. All right, so you can copy that down. As a general rule, I recommend watching the whole thing to the end and then going back and trying to do it rather than trying to do it at the same time as you're watching it the first time. It just gives you a bit more context, but it's up to you. All right, so that's our health potion pretty much done, I think. So what should we do next? I think maybe we need to map some keys for our inventory, so maybe we'll try that. Now, something that always happens to me, and I don't know if anyone else has ever suffered this problem, but on my Mac Mini here, I sometimes have a lot of trouble with Godot and the project settings. It seems to not enjoy it very much, but we'll give it a go. So into our project settings is where we find our mapping keys and click on input map. Now we've not mapped anything in our RPG yet. So we want to actually add a few, and they're going to be called slot 1, like that. Add. You can probably guess what the others are going to be. So we're only putting in 4 slots. You're welcome to expand that as however you see fit. That's just what I feel like doing. And then, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We come over here, we click on the plus, and then we click on the button. So I'm going to use keys 1, 2, 3, and 4 is what my plan is here. So, okay, it's starting to slow down on me now, so this should be fun. It might be that you probably work this out, right? So you click on the plus, click on the key, click on OK, do that for the others. Then you're going to basically close it. So I'm going to actually just pause this video because this is going to take me a long time to overcome my spinning pinwheel of death, and I'll meet you back in the rest of it. So all I'm doing is adding mapping the keys 1, 2, 3, and 4 to slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, and slot 4. All right, I'm going to pause it and I'll see you in the next bit. So it should look something like this, right? You got all of those maps. Let's close that down. And I think the next thing we should do is maybe update our global script, because we've got a few things in there we have to fix. So make sure we've saved what we've done so far, find your global script, and at the moment it just looks like this, which is super duper boring. So I'm going to dump a whole bunch of new code in here because we've got a lot to do. So I'm just going to find that, copy it, bring it across. All right, so here is what it looks like now. So this is our global script. We're extending our node 2D still. We've still got our has stick flag in there, which we could deal with a different way, but it's fine. Now we've added our health in here. We've also added a new variable called inventory, which we've set to be an array. And we've added the maximum inventory size as 4, and that's just part of our logic for our inventory. So now we've got a brand new function here called add item to inventory, and we're passing through the item information as well. So for the integer in range, minimum inventory size, maximum inventory size, this is just our logic to work out where things go where. If inventory I equals null, so there's nothing there, then we can add that one. If our size is less than our max inventory size, we can append the item to the inventory. Otherwise, we can print inventory as full. Make sure you're paying attention where those tabs are and things like that. And then there's just an extra little thing at the bottom there, function get inventory, return inventory. So that's just to sort of update it, right? So you got those ones there, and then just down the bottom. I can probably actually maybe get this to fit a bit better on the one screen for y'all. I'll get rid of my extra bit of info at the top. There we go, the whole thing fits on the screen there. Actually, doofus. There you go. So there you go. That's our new global script, which is going to do stuff for our inventory as well as just updating health and things like that. So make sure you save your inventory script. We probably need to go and do a bit of work on the player script, and then we'll finally get to making the inventory scene and things. So let's have a look at our player script next. Jump on into your player script, and this is where we're going to start. So let's get rid of this health variable because we've moved that to be in the global script, and that's going to bugger up a bunch of other stuff. So let's have a look. So here we go. Anywhere where we just had health written, we need to change it because we no longer have a health variable in here. We need to direct it to our global script where we have that health variable. So there's maybe one or two more. Global dot and global dot. All right, that's our health stuff sorted, and I think our magpie. Yeah, because here we go. We got player. So I think we're going to need to change one thing because we could before just go, that's the, this one here, no, this one here, here we go. All right, so if damage timer is greater than or equal to damage interval, player health, we want to take 10. So we don't actually have this player health anymore. So what we were trying to do is access the player node and then update the health variable that's in that node. Instead, we're just going to send it straight to the global script. I think that's all we'd need to do in that one. So that's our player script's health stuff sorted out. Our magpie script's interaction with that, but there's still a lot more we need to do in our player script. So we keep reading our way down. We've dealt with that variable that was at the top there. Enemy in range is attacking. Those are all fine. We still do the same ready function. I think our physics function doesn't really change either. Update health, we've already updated that. Animation is fine. Like that. Now down to our input event. Have we changed anything there? No, that's the same. Our die function, we've updated that already. Hitbox body entered. That's the same. Hitbox body exited is the same, and our animated sprite 2D. All right, that was actually all we had to do in there. I thought I'd done a bit more, but how about that? That's nice. So that's our player done. You know what that means? It's time to actually get started on the inventory stuff itself. So the next thing we need to do is save your player, and we're going to create a new scene and a new script and all of that. Alrighty, let's try and get this done. So let's create a new scene, clicking on the plus sign, and we're going to go other node, and this is going to be a canvas layer. That's what we're going to use to create our UI. So let's click on that and rename it to inventory with a capital I. All right, now, how we're going to structure all this, we're going to add a control node like that, and we can just leave that as called control. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a button with a text direct as a child of that, and we're going to do that 4 times. So we're going to go button like that, and then that button needs a text rect like that. So control button text direct, and then what I think we'll do is we'll rename this to be slot 1. and this will be slot 1 image, like that. And then I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it. That'll automatically change the slot thing, but I'll still have to go in and change the texture rect. So change that. Oops, helps if I delete the correct bit. Slot 2 image, slot 3 image, and you can guess what this one's going to be. All right, that's that set up. Now let's try and actually mess around with the tweaking this. So let's get into our 2D view, right? So this is all just, they're all just going to be piled on top of each other at the moment. So let's grab our slot 4 and try and drag it. Ooh, drag it over here a bit. This is the sort of stuff where you'll find, I reckon, there are people with way better skills with this sort of UI design stuff. For me, I'm just still tinkering and trying to work this gear out, right? So I hope it doesn't stress anyone out too much if I've got no idea what I'm doing here. Let's try and just keep everything roughly together. Once I've got some space here, I'll be able to actually think more clearly. So, all right. So let's grab our inspector window. I've just got slot 1 highlighted now, which I can work with. So I don't want to put any text in there. Icon we can leave as blank, text behavior, all that is fine. So slot 1 is selected. Let's go down and find layout and then transform. All right, I want this to be 32 by 32 and I want to just move it in slightly 2 by 2 like that. So that's where I want it to sit. And then slot 1 image, well, if we've got a 32 by 32 box to work with, I think we'll make our slot 1 image a little bit smaller than that, and we'll bring that in by 1 each like that. I think that would actually look good. So now we can grab slot 2. Oh, hang on, one other thing. Back on slot 1 image, where's its location? Have I worked with position? Yeah, so position of that one is 2 and 2, right? So if we've made it 32 wide and we want 2 on that side, that's 34, and we want 2 more on the other side. So 36 is where slot 2 is going to start. So let's get all that information up here. So this one we want it to be 32 and 32 as well. We want it to start at 36 and 2 like that. So we've given it a gap of 2 from the top and 2 from the one next to it. Scale is fine. Now we grab the image for that and we do the same thing. Layout, transformation. So we said 30 and 30. And oops, 1 and 1 as tagged in from its parent. Good. Slot 3. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys. Transform. So again, we want it to be 32 and 32. We want the position to be, where do we get to before? 36 plus 2 is 38 plus 32 is 70, right? Maybe not, who knows? And 2, like that. Perfect. And then we grab the image, layout, transform. Image was to be 30 by 30 and 1 by 1, like that again. And now slot 4, layout, transform, 32 by 32. Oh, I've lost count. Where did we get up to last time? 30, 60, 90 plus 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So it's 104. Is that right? By 2. Hey, all right. I can math sometimes, right? Layout, transform, and we made this one slightly smaller, didn't we, like that? Okay, let's zoom in and have a look at what that made for us. Yeah, that looks pretty good, right? It's pretty subtle. It works for me. So make sure we've saved that inventory scene. Yes, good, good, good. Now we need to add a script to it. So click on the root node, click on the add script, click create. Now this is where we're going to have a bit more fun. All right, I'm just going to delete all of this and we're just going to work our way down the page basically. So yes, we're still extending our canvas layer. What do we want to do first? Well, 2 things. We're going to grab couple of variables to set up. So first thing we want to do is create some slots and make them all null. So that's just our array there, right, for those slots. And then we're going to make an onReady variable, which is going to be for our images. And we've just grabbed the identification information for each of those, right? So control slot 1, slot image 1. I've done this before, but if I grab this and drag it over, control slot 1, slot image 1, right? So it's the same thing. So the way you can do that is just by typing that bit and then you just drag them, comma, drag, comma, drag, comma, and you'll have that done quickly. So that's the first little bit there. So you got your 4 control slot 1 image, etc. Next bit is we're going to add in our ready function, and our ready function is pretty basic. So what we're going to do is we're looking at our slots. We want to go global.getInventory. So you remember in our global script, get inventory down here. So we're calling that, but we've got an error here because we haven't made this function yet. We can just ignore that for now. So that's our ready function sorted. Now we want to get deal with those push buttons, right? So we created we mapped the keys. We need some way of reading it. So we're going to use our input function here in our inventory to listen for those buttons being pressed, slot 1, etc. All right, these are giving us errors now because we haven't made that either. So function input, you got your slot 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we've just got a little debug function just in case something isn't working. So you should, when you press the button and it works, it should tell you that there. All right, so now the use item. So we're going to get rid of a few errors here. So here we go. So function use item slot index, if slots, slot index, slots, slot index dot use. Then make it null, and then set our texture to null, and then update the inventory. So this is saying when we've used an item, we want to use it, we want to clear it, and get rid of the texture that's in there, and then just update the whole thing, right? So it refreshes. So we've still got this update inventory being an issue. We're going to get to that now. So function, let's grab our update inventory function. Paste it in. So function update inventory underscore UI slots global.getInventory. So that's in our global script printing. So we print that out as our little debug, and then we're looking for the different slots and things like that. So for I in range, len slots, updating slot, which slot it is. If slots is null, nothing there. Slot images. So that's how we've handled that up there. So that is our UI script. I think we're getting close. Maybe what we should do is actually make sure we put some of those health potions we made into our scene. So let's go to our world scene, go to our 2D view, find your health potion.tscn and drag one or two of those in. You see what I mean about the scale? So yeah, you might want to shrink them down even further than I did. But there they are there. We should now be able to interact with them. I'm not sure if we're 100% there. I think we're close. So I'm just going to save this and jump in and see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll have to work it out and we'll fix it. So let's have a play and actually see what happens. So in we go, click on our start button. So what I probably want to do is get hurt first. Oh, hang on. I just noticed something. I never added it to the scene. We didn't add the inventory to the scene. All right. So we've got our world scene up, which is good. Here's our tile map player. Now we need to find our inventory .tscn, and we want to drag it up and basically drop it on our player, and then it adds it as a child node of our player. Now, hopefully this time when we go in, the inventory will be in the top left-hand corner. Let's find out. Play. Start. All right, there it is. Maybe we need to make those things even smaller, but let's, we can pick them up. Excellent. I need to lose some health so we can make sure these things work. All right, so I'm losing. Die. All right, press 1, it works. Press 2, it works. Beautiful. All right, let me go in, visit mum, grab the stick so no one will pick on me anymore, come back out. I haven't shown you how to get these to not spawn again, but we can still pick them up again, right? Use it again, max out our health. It all works. You've got an inventory system. All right, guys, let's have a look at our our must may might, and we'll take it from there. There is an awful lot to get done in this one that you just have to do to make it work. So you're going to have to get your inventory scene and script sorted, update your global and magpie scripts, create your health potion scene and script, create the item script and scene, which was the the template. You're going to have to update the player script and also map those keys for the inventory. What you may like to do is make some different items you can collect that might manipulate different properties. And you might consider playing around with the canvas layer to make it suit your game style a bit better. You might want those things to be vertically oriented rather than horizontal, etc. That was a truly mammoth lesson, but we got there. You now have a rudimentary inventory system to add to your ARPG. Next time we will add some money to our game, and then after that we'll look at how we can use that money. And the quote I would like to leave you with this week resonates with me particularly when it comes to Godot tutorials. To succeed in life, you need two things: ignorance and confidence. And that is from none other than Mark Twain. I hope you learned something in this one, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.